Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 2, and today I'm going to be giving you what if Naruto was banished to the Forbidden Land. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also guys, stay in tune for the rest of what if's coming your way over Anime King and Anime King 3. If you're new, yes, you did hear that correctly. I do have 3 channels, Anime King, Anime King 2, and Anime King 3, which I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. Links will be down in the description, so go ahead and click those red subscribe buttons. Turn on those bell notifications to stay posted to see exactly when I post. So now sit back, relax, and yeah, enjoy. What do you say to begin this new episode? So, the last time we left off, the West. There was a wall that split the elemental nation, as it was the western element. It was said to be a place that was filled with demons, powerful beasts, man that was able to quake the earth itself. And the Sage of Six Paths that separate this wall. A lot of time had passed and the people, daimyos to be exact, from the elemental nations, asked the Uzumakis to make sure that the wall never crumbled. So they infused it with a lot of seals to keep the wall forever protected. And so the people from the elemental nation never go over to the west. Until that finally changed. As Naruto Uzumaki was banished from the village by someone that shocked him. Snazzy of all people. He didn't know the reason or why. But mainly it was because of him beating Sasuke. Maybe it was because of him completing a mission that he was sent on. He didn't know why she hated him. He knew why the others hated him, but she of all people, it made no sense. So he just left. He didn't have a good life growing up. Rumors quickly spread about the Kyuubi Jinjuke, and lies spread through the children and everyone, saying that he was a beast. How quickly his friends changed was astonishing. Gaara, Tamara, and Conqueror were shocked. How they would say that about Naruto after everything he done for them. As Gaara made up his mind from that day forward, the stand would no longer ally with Konoha, and he was gonna make sure of that. One person though, Hinata Ayuga, came to say goodbye to Naruto. She never hated him, in fact she loved him. She proved that by kissing him. But she was so upset with herself that she never took her chance. As he was also upset that he never noticed her advances. He apologized, but she told him he had nothing to apologize for. So with that he left, to never return to Konoha ever again. Couple of years passed since Naruto left the village. A lot has changed, but for one thing, the fight in the west had come to an end. Because of one individual they now call their emperor. The man had strolled in at first. He had been through hell, almost dying at least several times. But yet, the people saw his charisma, the people that he met, the forces that he joined. They saw the kind of man that he was, so they followed him. Soldiers that would die for him. So with that he used his newfound power after training. Years spent on training with these new advanced arts. He trained and became something monstrous himself. And with his newfound power and the people's support, he was able to do something that no man was ever able to do. End the war in the West. The people look up to him as their emperor, as he kept things stable and in check. He had guilds of assassins, guilds of vampires, guilds of monsters, as they all had their own section. And he was in charge, he was the emperor. Every once in a while there was a meeting with all of the guild masters there, as they reported to their emperor, which was none other than Naruto Uzumaki. Kurama the Kyuubi had been freed from his body a long time ago, and he was in a human form. Well, from what you could see, as he was wearing a knight armor, clad in crimson armor, as he spoke to Naruto about the upcoming events. As Naruto had been to the Elemental Nation a few times in the past couple of years. For one, he had taken all of the Jinjulkis except for the 3, Gaara, and the 8 Tails, as they were now living here in the Demon Court, living peaceful lives, but they were still expected to train, as the Demon Lord didn't want any weak subjects, but their beasts were free from them as well, and roaming amongst the people without any neglect or any shame. He had assassins that came to him as he had a job for them. As the Elemental Nation was picking up trouble once again, soon enough a naive fool will think that it was best to try and conquer the West, because the place has been peaceful, but Naruto would not allow that, as it was time that they move soon. But he had a plan, as he had to free someone, Hinata, because of her fascination with him. Her clan had used her like a scapegoat, forcing her to marry Kiba Inazaka, forcing her, even though she didn't want that. They were selling her off the Inazaka clan that she was some kind of package, as it really angered Naruto. But for now, he will be going towards the land of spring. At Konoha, the daimyo had came in. The man was pissed. Spring wave, the sand. Several villages had cut ties with him. He thought that it was his fault, so he had go into the records of everything that he'd done over the past months, only to find out they had one common interest: Naruto Uzumaki. He gave them no right to banish that boy, and how dare they do this, and look what it was doing to his country right now. He was furious. They banished him for completing a mission. The man didn't understand why would they do that, especially Snady. They were family. How could she do that to the boy? What kind of monster were these people? And they call him a monster, as he cut their order. If Naruto Uzumaki stepped in this village and assaulted them, they could not kill him. If he stepped in this village, no one could try to assassinate him. Or otherwise, he will make sure personally that Konoha is buried, along with that person who will suffer. He left without giving a damn what they said. Jiraiya then finally arrived, as he told the council that Naruto had crossed over the wall. At first they were confused, until he told them the western wall. Snady and the others were shocked, as they couldn't believe it. So yeah guys, that's basically that's what I thought. If you guys can switch across, so please check it out for yourself. So this is a new episode. You mean he went over the wall, leading to the west? Ayoshi said, as he couldn't believe what he was hearing. Of all places for that boy to go, he went over there. The very same. He summoned Gamabunta and told him what happened. It is why I wasn't here sooner. Gamabunta declared the people of Konoha unfit to have the summonings of the toads. He's calling a summoning meeting with all the other contracts that have deals with Konoha to decline them all. He's already cut ties with me, said Jiraiya, as the people were shocked hearing that. They wouldn't. Who would summon them if not us? A civilian council member said. I don't know. Though in their mind, anyone not tied to Konoha is probably better than us right now. Snady, nod your head to yourself. Jiraiya, you're going to head over to the west, find Naruto Uzumaki, and bring him back home. The only way to make things partially better for the Leaf was if the brat was back in Konoha. After everything that has happened, the kid isn't going to be jumping with joy to return, only because it's gonna help the Leaf. The younger generation, after everything, will be out for blood should Naruto come back here. And we both know that was your fault by rescinding the third law, said Jiraiya, as Snady glared at him. I don't care how you do it, Jiraiya, but one way or another, I want that brat in my office to become a shinobi once again. Even if it means we have to erase all of his past memories and starting over from scratch. Said Snady, knowing that was always a possibility at this point in time. Me? Go over to the west? Snady, you don't seem to understand that part of the continent. And what you fail to understand is the west is not a very friendly place for anyone that is on this side. Period. I may be a Sonic, but there are things over there from what I heard that can crush me into paste with a flick of their wrists. And I have zero, absolute zero contact over there to help me find a strand of Naruto's here. The others, along with Tsunade, looked on defeat because they knew that it was true. For all their strength and reputation built here in the East, when they compared to the West, it was the West that had the real muscle. Fine, focus on the Uchiha for now and get that damn curse seal off his body. The last thing I need is for Orochimaru to make a second attempt, and it seemed possible. As Jiraiya nodded, "Will do, Haim," he said. In the flashback, that was years ago, when Naruto had just recently left, a couple months after he had left. At the moment though, in the present time, our contestants, with their former senses, are currently on their way to Spring Country, said Jiraiya. They had sent over Lee, Neji, Sasuke, Kiba, Hinata, though the poor girl was not competing, per orders of her father. She was there to support her future husband, and so they can get married on her return home. Good. The prize money will help keep Konoha funded, said Tsunade. There had been budget cuts that were set by the daimyo, and missions had been unstable recently. I hear the Konohamaru Corps are going to be nominated for a tuning exam this year. Why? Said Jiraiya. Because they still support Naruto, and the exam are in the stand this year. I figure that Gar would give them a decent enough welcome, since they don't hate the damn brat for being a Jinchuriki, said Tsunade. Jiraiya nodded, as that was a good enough move of any she could make right now. That, and you want their sensei Asuma to report on any kind of connection that they have to the West. Just like this tournament that you signed our Shinobi up for. You heard that the Spring has some ties to the West as well, said Jiraiya. Am I that see-through? Asked Nettie. No, not really. That could change too. If you wear a wet shirt and soaked in water, BAM! He was sent sailing through the wall by a punch to his face. Meanwhile, is this accurate? Said Danzo, as he looked towards his root captain with a narrowed gaze. Yes, Danzo-sama. The Emperor of West is traveling by an airship to the east to see his own fighters compete in the tournament. It was provided by the Spring Daimyo herself, said the Root Envoy captain as he sensed the man displeasure. This Emperor believed himself untouchable. He's a threat to me and Konoha, said Danzo, as Danzo wished he could get a picture of the man, but he knew that wasn't possible. Until now, and even then he knew that the Emperor wore a mask helmet to keep his identity a secret. Plus there was no way telling if the man on the airship was the actual Emperor or some fanatical, ready to die, pretending to be the ruler of the West. Danzo didn't want to risk another failed assassination attempts. Word had reached him years ago that the Western era had become one under this mysterious Emperor. Danzo had wanted that place to stay divided because he knew while they were together, perhaps they would try to invade the East because they were stronger. When combined, his agents were sent back in boxes. Boxes that were the palm of his hands. They were broken down into pieces as they had been left in the center of the village. Tsunade had questioned on the shinobi being used, but Danzo merely explained that it was his security forces hunting down someone that entered his house, and the person was skilled enough to take them out like this and leave him a message. For what he did not know, he lied. His pawns and the council was able to sweep it under the rug, and the issue got dismissed. He had said a squad of his great working with shinobis. Clearly, the people working for the Emperor is rather skilled. He knew that the Emperor was not interested in war at the moment. That is why he only got away with the body of his man. It was a warning not to try it again. Should we try again, Danzo-sama? Perhaps a means of sabotaging the airship when the Emperor is on his way back home? Asked the Envoy captain. No. Konoha shinobis are already participating in the tournament, and even I must admit the prize money will help Konoha in the state that we're in right now. When they return, we will have a description of the Emperor, hopefully a face to get his identity. There was no point of letting his man go do the same work that Tsunade decided was gonna do, and she was gonna share the information anyway. Time skip. In Spring Country. We've arrived, my Emperor, an elderly figure said. His hair was tied back into a ponytail, as he was wearing a butler uniform. Thank you, Walter. How are the others? As Naruto saw his butler, his servant, his bodyguard, and the Kyuubi standing aside, ready to fight for you in this tournament, my emperor. And they promised to make you proud, said Walter, as the fighters were from the best in the region in Taijutsu, and they were chosen for that fact, while some of them were chosen for another covered reason. Good to hear. All I ask is that they do their best in this, and to kick the crap out of any leaf shinobi they might fight in it, said Naruto with a smirk, as Walter nodded in agreement. They are aware of such things. They will show these young fools a lesson in the true way of violence, and followed by humility. As Naruto nodded, let us not keep our host waiting, he said. Time skip. Spring Country Stadium. The people were gathered there to see the tournament that their daimyo was sponsoring. Rumors of the Western Empire sending fighters to participate, and the Emperor himself from the West was coming. Everyone knew that the Emperor was the ally of Spring Country after peace over the wall had been heard. At first, many was afraid of what was going to happen now that they were unified, but to their surprise, there was a meeting between the daimyo of the Spring Country, between the Emperor, as they spoke secretly. No one knew what was spoken between them or his true identity because the man kept his face hidden from everyone. But the daimyo was curious. She had went. When she returned, she had a smile on her face, a smile that he had not seen since their hero had freed them from the tyranny of Dodo. When asked by one of her samurais why she was smiling, Koyuki had merely replied that our lost-long hero is no longer lost. As she had smiled for the rest of the day, she was in a happy mood. The people all went quiet as they saw him, clad in his armor, as he made his way towards the booth where Koyuki was. As his robe switched around him in the wind, his eyes behind the mask showed this intense gaze. Welcome, Emperor of the West. I'm honored that you came all this way to see the tournament, said Koyuki, as she took his hand and shook it with a knowing smile on her face. The honor is mine, your country flourished under your rule. May it continue to do so for the years to come, said Naruto. Thank you, she said. Please sit. The tournament's about to begin. As he sat beside her, as the announcer spoke, ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to announce by the power invested in me by our beloved Spring Country Daimyo that the Grand Taijutsu Tournament will now begin, yelled the arena announcer as the crowd exploded in cheers and applause. Do you hear that, guys? All those cheers, all those applause. Once I win this tournament, I'm gonna get fame, some fortune, and a nice piece of Hyuga tail that is gonna be my future wife, Kiba said, as he had been excited ever since he found out that he was gonna be married to Hinata, and the cage bird seal was gonna be on her forehead to further ensure her obedience to him without question. If you win, you are no match for Uchiha, said Sasuke, his tone still arrogant as ever. He was still pissed off that Naruto defeated him 6 years ago, and for the first 3 years he got no training, says the guy that was prevented him from training for the first 3 years, and got his curse mark locked away, said Kiba, as Sasuke clenched his fists. Just don't use the excuse of not having your dog for backup when you lose, said Sasuke. Such arrogance from Leaf Shinobis made me sick. As the group turned to see a man, he was in a white karate GI pants, the shirt that was ripped at the shoulders, with a headband that was tied around his head. It was red. And who the hell are you, said Kiba as the figure crossed his arms. Name is Ryu. Hoshi Ryu, the man said. I am one of the fighters participating in this tournament. You are fighters from a leaf, correct? Kiba puffed out his chest. Yeah, that's right. The best the elemental countries has to offer, said Kiba. How sad, said Ryu. How so, said Sasuke. I say how sad because you're all weak. As Ryu started to walk away. And what gives you the right to judge us? You're just a nobody wannabe fighter, said Sasuke, as Ryu stopped, before he turned to look towards them. No, Uchiha Sasuke, it is you, along with the rest of your Leaf Shinobi here, who is the wannabe fighters, when compared to the rest of my fellow warriors from the rest. You are the nobodies, said Ryu, as he simply walked away. Jerk, I'm gonna mess him up should we fight each other in this tournament. I bet the fighters in the West or does all talk, said Kiba. On the other hand, Neji was being rather quiet. He's dangerous, as there was an aura. It was deep inside the man, concealed. As the announcer spoke, our first contestant would be Kiba Inazaka from the Leaf and Hoshi Ryu from the Western Empire. Will you please enter the arena? As Kiba had a smirk on his face. Huh, seems like my dreams had been answered, he said. As he heard people booing at his name. Huh? What a bunch of assholes, he said. We helped their daimyo to become the daimyo and they boo someone like me. As they were applauding for the other guy. Screw them. He would show that guy that he was nothing. As Ryu watched him. He doesn't know anything. He was gonna hurt him really badly. Really badly. Ryu would not kill because that went against his own moral code. But given how bad things were in the West before, killing did happen. It was only done to protect those who were precious to him. It was why he joined the Emperor in the first place. The Emperor had been uniting the lands, fighting more cruel warlords, and uniting the more honorable ones. Joining him in the unification of the West, Ryu saw that the Emperor was a man like himself, and he pledged his loyalty to bring his strength and power to the man, to bring peace for the West. Fighters, the rules are simple. The one that is left standing at the end of the match will be moved on to the next round. Killing is allowed, but we prefer if you don't and just knock out your opponent. Let's get this over with. I have some big things after this, said Kiba as he smiled to himself. In the stands, Hinata Hyuga had a disgust look on her face as she dreaded the day she had returned back to Konoha. The trip over here hadn't been easy either, as she could feel him looking at her the entire time, knowing that she would be forced to marry him. Flashback. I don't know why you're acting like this, Hinata-chan. We're gonna be married soon anyway. Or on a boat, my room isn't that far away, and it wouldn't be difficult to start the inevitable early. So how about it? Let's have our honeymoon early, said Kiba. I will pass on the offer, Kiba-san, said Hinata. Well, you're lost, he said. Still, it's gonna be fun once we're married, he said, as he had a smile on his face the entire time. And we're also gonna have all of those coats of yours destroyed, as she was wearing a rather large coat, so he couldn't see a damn thing. Do not presume that you can dictate what I wear, Kiba-san, she said. I may become your wife, but it will be a loveless marriage because I will never love you. She had told him that before. He grabbed her by the arms as he was angry. You still have a thing for that demon, don't you? After all this time, your heart still ached for him and wished to be married to him, don't you? He said. But she did not waver under his glare. She stood still, unafraid. What if my heart does belong to Naruto, she said. That's all gonna change the moment we're married. Do you understand me? Because you'll be mine, no one else, mine. And there is no point of looking for that demon because perhaps by now he's already dead, said Kiba. Her hand lashed out and slammed into his stomach as it launched him into the railing of the boat. Hinata, said Kurnai, as she saw her former student did that to her other former student as she just arrived. What? Hinata said, losing her cool, as she sent the woman a glare. She trusted her. She trusted her to support her, but she only stayed quiet. Apologize to Kiba, Kurnai said. You want me to apologize after what he said? Let me guess, you did not hear, said Hinata. He will be your future husband. The nicer you are right now, the less discomfort you will feel when you're married to him, said Kurnai. I will be feeling all sorts of discomfort, whether I'm nice to him or not, and we both know that. Kurnai looked away, as she understood. What was the point of being nice to someone when it was not going to be returned? Even still, you will have to be when a child is born, said Kurnai. Hinata sent her a dead glare, as she actually released some killer intent on her former sensei. As if I would ever be a child of his, said Hinata. You don't have a choice, Hinata. Not this time. The one you want to be with is not going to come back to Konoha. Not even he can stop this time, said Kurnai. I don't care about that, it does not matter. As long as I live, my soul, my heart will always belong to Naruto-kun, she said. And that will never change. As she stood firm, she would not cry. In the flashback. Contestants ready. Begin! Getsuga, said Kiba. Ryu moved to the side as he dodged the move easily, as he was not impressed. This tournament is for fighters of skills, not brawlers, said Ryu. Shut up and prepare to get your ass kicked by the alpha male of the leaf, said Kiba. He rushed forward as he started to slash with his claws. As Ryu started to dodge each and every one slash, his hands were behind him as he showed that he was not impressed, with a disappointed look on his face. Pathetic, he said, and that just pissed Kiba off even more. The crowd started to boo at Kiba. Kunai, Kakashi, and Guy did not understand why their fellow shinobi was being booed. After all, the fighter from the west had done nothing but dodge. Ryu sighed before he reached and grabbed the fist that was aimed towards his face. He then snapped the wrist as Kiba yelled out in pain before he dragged Kiba's arm down and dislocated the shoulder. Before he jumped, a brutal kick he slammed into Kiba's face, launching him backwards. Kiba looked up as Ryu slammed his heel and started to apply pressure onto his shoulder as Kiba cried. Ryu then reached down as he grabbed onto Kiba's arm. How do you want this to end, Leaf Shinobi? As he started to tug as Kiba cried out in agony and pain. I give up, he begged. Ryu removed his foot from Kiba's chest. As I said, pathetic. As everyone cheered, winner, Hoshi Ryu. As everyone clapped. As Kiba was down there, feeling pathetic. Seconds and the match was over. If you're the alpha of the leaf then, the rest of your comrades must be even more pathetic. As Ryu turned his back before he bowed to the emperor, and then he started to walk off. Kiba picked himself up as he was too angry to let this go. You bastard, as he rushed forward. As Ryu turned, Hayuken, he said. As he released a blue fireball, it smashed into Kiba as it slammed him on the ground. As his body bounced off the ground by the force that he was hit with. As his body slammed into the wall. Disqualify him, said Kunai, as she saw Kiba groaning in pain. The match is already over, Kunai-san. Kiba attacked after it was declared officially over, said Hinata. As the Spring Country daimyo did not even pay her any mind. Hinata, leave shinobi support each other, no matter what, said Kunai. Just as you supported Naruto-kun. Did you support him when he was about to be banished? No one did except for me, and I was forced into an arranged marriage with Kiba because of it. You say leaf shinobi should support each other no matter what, but all that really means is to support leaf shinobis who aren't Jinjulki of the Kyuubi, and those who love the Jinjulki as well. You and the rest of the leaf shinobis are all hypocrites. As she started to walk away, Hinata, where are you going, said Kakashi, as they were told to keep an eye on her. She did not answer him, as he reached out to touch her. He placed a hand on her shoulder, Hinata, only for his hand to be twisted, as he dropped to one knee. Don't you ever lay your hand on me again. If you do, I'll remove that Sharingan eye of yours, in the most painful way possible, she said, as she threw his hand away and walked off. Kakashi adjusted his hand. She had gotten a lot stronger. As he rolled his wrists, that hurt a lot. Meanwhile, my emperor, the Hyuga girl is out of sight, said Walter. As Naruto snapped his finger, a figure in the shadows moved towards Hinata. It was time to set the bird free from her cage. As Naruto looked back down to the arena, he had a smile on his face after that defeat he saw Kiba receive. The Leaf Shinobis were still weak and pathetic. A lot of support was taken away from the Leaf when he was banished. Village that only allied themselves with the Leaf because of him was all taken away when they saw how cruel and wicked those people were. About 3 years after becoming the Emperor of the West, there was a failed assassination attempt. It was not surprising that it was from the Hidden Leaf. They were from Danzo's root. As Naruto knew that it would happen sooner or later, that old, decrepit man didn't want anyone rising in power, no matter where they were, thinking that it would threaten the Leaf. But Naruto had made sure to show the man that he was not someone to be messed around with. Flashback 3 years ago, as Naruto was sipping on some tea, as he was currently in his chambers, looking over various reports, financial and military. His title as the Emperor came with a lot of work that he was happy to do to maintain the peace. My Emperor, I've come to inform you we have intruders in the Imperial Palace, said Walter as he came in the room. I know, said Naruto. The seals inside the palace detected them. I had the samurais and shinobis move to protect the servants. As he sipped his tea once again. I do not need protection, my emperor. I am here to aid you, said Walter. Of course not, said Naruto. You are one of a kind, my friend. My personal Shinigami. Walter bowed in respect at the title that was bestowed upon him. Do you wish for me to take care of them before they get here? Said Walter. You read my mind, Walter, said Naruto. You've been hanging around sidekicks for too long. But I do not want all of them dead. I want to know everything they know, and why they were sent to assassinate me. Precisely down to the letter. As Walter bowed, your orders will be followed to the letter, he said. Time skip. Several hallway down. Are you sure the Emperor private quarters are around here? Shinobi said, as he had a rather uneasy feeling. They had been moving and yet, they had faced no opposition in their way. Yes, now hurry. Danzo Sama either want the Emperor's identity or life before the end of the day, said the route captain, as him and his squad rushed through the halls, only for a door to open up in front of them as he paused. As a single figure stepped out, the man smiled when he saw them as he walked towards them, calmly. As the man opened his fist before he closed it, he then moved his hand. As the root shinobis leaped away, one of them lost their head though, and the captain lost his right arm before they could fall. Oh dear, I killed one of you. I guess it is expected in my old age to lose some of my edge, since my orders were just to maim most of you. Who the hell are you? The captain said as he drew his blade. Oh, my apologies for not introducing myself. My name is Walter Dorners, butler to the Emperor of Western Empire and former master of shinobis. Walter then released tiny wires as they shot forward as he captured the root shinobis and moved with speed that was not fit for a man of his age. He was so fast. As Walter appeared behind the three of them, he twitched his hand as the three behind him dropped into body parts. The rest of them stepped back along with the captain, afraid, as they barely saw the man move. Hurry, run to the Emperor's room. I'll distract this guy long enough for you to complete the objective, the root ninja said, looking towards his two comrades that remain. How unwise, said Walter, as he used one hand to bind the root captain by his arms and the other two by their skull. It doesn't matter how much pain you cause us. You won't get a word out of us, the root captain said, as Walter simply chuckled. You sound so confident, young man. But this is your first time being here, I suppose. So you don't know what we have to offer. But allow me to show you a good time, as Walter took them along with him. End of flashback. Naruto mind focused back on what he was looking at the match, as he heard the announcer call for Rock Lee from the Leaf and Tifa Lockhart from the West Empire. Once more the Leaf was booed as Tifa was cheered, as many guys were whistling at seeing Tifa. Ah, Cloud, said Naruto. You better put a ring on her finger before some guy snatch her away from you, he thought to himself, as Tifa and Cloud strive for a relationship for a while now with no word to be engaged yet. My Emperor, it is done. The agent has succeeded in his objective, a tall warrior said as he stood beside Naruto. He was rather tall and he was wearing a large trench coat, and there was something on his back that most would believe that it was a sword, but it was not. Thank you for informing me, Ayoshi-san. Head down to the fighter waiting area. I don't want you to be disqualified for being late, said Naruto, as Ayoshi nodded as he left the Emperor's side. Down below, Lee was always good in taijutsu, as Guy was overjoyed to watch his students show his youthful spirit. But Lee had never honed his skills to fight in a war. He only trained for a fight. On the other hand, Tifa, since she was a child in the West, she had eat, sleep, and breathe war until Naruto came along. Now she trained others in taijutsu. No one trained like Tifa in taijutsu. Lee will find out soon enough. Begin! As the match was announced, as both Tifa and Lee moved. It was fast, their blows that was, until Lee was sent skidded back as he coughed up a bit of blood. just from a few blows exchanged. Tifa, on the other hand, had a few scratch marks on her, but she looked fine, as she seemed to shrug it off. Lee, on the other hand, was already speaking up blood. So, this is what the future Taijutsu Master Leaf has to show. Pathetic. Naruto told me all about you. About how you fight Gaara in the Chunin preliminaries all those years ago. You nearly took down Gaara, but a simple miscalculation caused you to lose, and you nearly became paralyzed. As the people in the stadium was shocked on hearing that. The Naruto part. You know Naruto? What has that unyouthful demon done to warp your mind? Said Lee, as Tifa looked towards him with a blank look, before she vanished. Crunch, that was the sound that was made as her knee connected with Lee's face, his nose being obliterated as he was sent sailing back before he rolled on the dirt arena floor. He has done nothing to my mind. It has remained clear after I met him. Go back to your Hokage and tell her that Naruto is happy where he is. Happier than the hateful idiots could ever do in ever. Lee got up as he dropped back in his stance as she scoffed. Pathetic. She moved. Lee turned as their fists connected as a force pushed Lee away to his surprise. She didn't move as her heel slammed into his gut. He rolled over on her leg as his body felt the shockwave going through it as she knocked him in the air. Kicking him straight up, she did not stop as she jumped and slammed her heel 2 times in his face, knocking him straight up as she flashed above him with nothing but raw speed and raised her heel as it came back at him with so much force that the air seemed to warp. Boom! She dropped it right in his spine. His spine broke as he dropped into the ground, destroying it. Lee was down and he was not getting up. Lee! Guy shouted as he saw Tifa being announced the winner. She looked as she saw Lee being taken away by the medics. That is for betraying Naruto. He told me how he found Sensei Tsunade and got her to return to the Leaf to heal the injured. You being amongst them, if I'm not mistaken, Rock Lee. You are unworthy to walk again after your betrayal from such a considerate boy. Do this world a favor and stay crippled this time, she said. Lee was taken away as Neji was shocked. That's not possible. Lee was pure taijutsu. If anyone else, he should be at the top of this tournament. But instead he was defeated by this girl. Like it was nothing. Are you surprised? She claimed to know Naruto. Maybe he gave her something to get the extra edge, said Sasuke, as Neji nodded along. Perhaps he's a demon after all. Demons have been known to bless humans in exchange for different things. Perhaps he did something to make that woman stronger than a normal person, as Neji still believed in fate after he realized that Naruto was a liar because he was just a demon, and fate had him believe that Lee would win this match. So to see that woman come out on top, that didn't make sense. So his mind believed what Sasuke told him, as he heard his name being announced, and another by the name of Ayoshi Shinomori. As Neji was met with booing when his name was announced, and hostility, Ayoshi on the other hand was met with cheers and women screaming out that they want to be with him, as he was quite the good looking fellow after all. You can't have a weapon with you in this event. It is pure taijutsu only. The arena man whispered to Ayoshi. My apologies, one moment please, he said, as he walked towards the grass area, and his humble, loyal subordinate, Hananea, took his weapon. I bring word from her, Ayoshi-sama, the woman who has captured the Emperor's heart. Request that you hurt your opponent in the most painful and ruthless way possible, his subordinate told him. Does the Emperor agree with this request, Ayoshi asked. Yes, he does. Well then, I will do as they command of me, and become the instrument of your vengeance, Ayoshi said, as he walked back to the arena. You should give up now, fate, as decree me the winner of this match before it even starts. Unlike my comrades of the Leaf, I don't lose to anyone, and not to the likes of you, said Neji. There was one that beat you in combat, and he was said to be the weakest of the Leaf at the time, said Ayoshi. That did not count. My opponent was a demon, still is a demon. A fight with a demon do not count because they use tricks to defy fate, and thus they are unworthy of their victories. The ground cracked under Ayoshi as Neji was assaulted with a vicious killer intent. But the strange thing about it was Ayoshi's face did not change. There was no anger, his face remained neutral, but the killer intent was deadly. His voice was calm. You will pay dearly for insulting Naruto. Begin, the announcer announced, as Neji moved forward to end this quickly. As Ayoshi stood there. As Neji started to strike, Ayoshi dodged the first one. He dodged the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth. People started to shout that the gentle fist was overrated, that the leaf shinobis were washed up, and that they were no longer on the top. They were pathetic, as people were making fun of them and mocking the leaf. As Ayoshi jumped back, his feet touching the ground softly. Is this it? Is this all the power that you possess? I was expecting more from the supposed prodigy of the Hyuga clan, but it seems like you are no more than a weakling. Don't you dare talk to me like that, you commoner, said Neji, as he missed 2 more times before he spin. Rotation! As Ayoshi moved back quick enough for the rotation, not to harm him. The moment Neji stopped, Ayoshi was in front of him in a second as he aimed low with a sweeping kick. Neji's feet was knocked from underneath him as Ayoshi pushed his arm forward as it slammed into Neji's jaw. Crack! The man's jaw was snapped as he was thrown. As Neji was sent rolling, he dropped on the ground as he slowly rose back to his feet, reaching up towards his broken jaw. But the moment he got up, his eyes turned, but it was too late. As he was assaulted, he was struck 4 times on the torso. The sound of ribs being broken was sound all through the arena. It was vicious, cruel, wicked. Ayoshi did not stop there though, as he turned and delivered a hit in Neji's chest. As he turned with a force that brought his hand back, so much more power as Neji slammed into the arena wall, breaking it behind him. Neji dropped as he started to call for blood. Ayoshi walked over to him before he delivered another slam to his ribs. Neji cried out in pain as more blood came from his mouth. As he dropped on the ground, barely able to move, he tried to get up, but the moment he was on one leg, Ayoshi slammed a kick right into it, forcing him to drop. As he was dropping, he realized that his view was right beside Ayoshi's hand, where he was assaulted once again. As everyone watched a gruesome scene before Ayoshi slammed him right in the skull, knocking him out clean. Fate, do not hold us down, Neji Hyuga, like you believe it. Uzumaki Naruto never believed in fate. He fought it every single day since he was born. You fell from grace, he has risen in high standings in the empire, and he is respected by all in our borders, Ayoshi said, as he left without looking back, as he was announced the victor. I can't believe it, said Kakashi, as he didn't understand. Not even the Sharingan could copy Tifa moves, or Ayoshi, speed, altering ability, or Ryu, strange blue fireball attack, or any of the move that he used in the match so far. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't seem possible, said Kurenai. She didn't expect any of their students to lose until they fought each other, and by then it wouldn't make sense because they would be bringing back the leaf anyway. Would Sasuke Uchiha from the leaf and Toph Beifon please come down to the arena, the next name was called, as the crowd did the same thing. But the boo was a lot more louder for Sasuke, as the crowd chanted, kill him, kill him, kill him. Wow, I had no idea Sasuke was hated by so much people, said Kiba, as he was all bandaged up, as he was just sitting down, unable to really stand up completely. He felt pathetic and humiliated. What would you expect in Osaka? Cheers. Women begging for him to impregnate them, so that they could give him children for his clan. The people of Spring Country do not love traitors, Ryu said, as Kiba gritted his teeth, but he was unable to really do anything. Not that he could. No one asked you. Besides, if they hate Sasuke for being a traitor, why don't they hate Naruto for being a Kyuubi? Tricking us all this time. As Ryu turned towards him, Kiba was lucky, as the man nearly released his other side, and that would have caused a lot of problem. Watch your tongue before I remove it. Uzumaki Naruto is hardly a demon that you and the rest of Konoha make him out to be in his childhood. Says you. I hear the Western Empire has all sorts of demons running around there, and the humans around them act like mindless beasts. Then you don't know anything about this, little man. The Empire is filled with demons. I will admit that. However, demons are not without thought and reason to help. Only when provoked do demons attack, but being the arrogant whelp that you are, just let the rest of Konoha such knowledge escape your grasp, and you remain weak and pathetic because of this, he said, as he turned to ignore him. Meanwhile, ready to lose to an elite of Konoha little girl, Sasuke said to Toph. While being a few years younger than Sasuke, she simply smirked, as she told him to bring it on. Sasuke saw the way she was standing, as he narrowed his eyes. She's blind? As she was not looking at him, as he glanced up towards the Emperor that was sitting beside the Spring Daimyo, wondering why he would let a blind girl fight. Is that true? Said Koyuki. That she is, said Naruto. But I would not have her compete today if I did not think that she could not fight, said Naruto. If you got cold feet, forfeit and get out of the arena with a tail between your legs. I'm sure the village would help wipe your nose, since he had so much experience doing it in the past. Said Toph. Sasuke got pissed off as he activated a Sharingan. You will regret that, little girl. My Sharingan eyes and my Uchiha blood make me superior to you in every way. It's a pity that you can't see that. You think me being blind is bad. The best part of being blind is that I don't have to look at idiots and spineless cowards like you all day. As Naruto had told her that Sasuke's biggest thing was his ego. You little bitch. You won't be smiling once I beat you to an inch of your life, said Sasuke. As Sasuke moved towards her, she simply smiled. But guys, be in subs right here. If you want to see next parts and do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notifications they posted. Remember, share to all of your friends in social media platform. But I'm off for now. Remember to stay tuned for the rest of what is coming your way and making 3 as well, guys. Yes, if you're new, that's right, I do have 3 channels, and making 2 and making 3, which I post with every single day for you guys to enjoy. So yeah, without further ado, stay tuned for the rest of them. Links will be in the description. So yeah, what do you still get a healthy for now, guys?